throws, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted by number 22. That's Clifton. He's got the left edge. Turns on the Jets. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play. Up to a running back. That's Ferrante over to the right side. He comes back up the middle. He's got room. One man to beat. He turns on the Jets. There he goes. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Football with Coach Val. I'm your host, Gil Valtierra, the voice of Calaveras Football. This episode, we dive into a new topic, which is Where Are They Now?, where we track down a former Calaveras high school football player and see how they're doing and what's going on in their lives. Our guest today is former running back and linebacker Chance Norton. Chance, everybody's excited that you're here. Thanks for joining us today.
Awesome. Let's go. I hear it. I hear it in the claps. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here and a little nervous, but we'll get through that. Been a day one listener and can't wait to listen to this one back as well.
Cool. Thank you so much for listening into the podcast. We really appreciate that. A little background for our listeners. Chance played for Calaveras football from 2015 to 2018, and I believe class of 2018, Chance?
Yep, that's correct. Class of 2018.
Class of 2018. He was named Motherlode League All-League his junior and senior year. He's lived in Calaveras County since the third grade all the way through high school. And currently, Chance is on active duty as an E5/82 in the United States Navy. Chance, help us layman out here. What is an E5/82 in the Navy? What does that mean?
So, I'm currently active duty in the Navy. So 82 is my rank and my job, like, put together. So in the Navy, a lot of things are like, there's a lot of different ways to say a lot of things. So an AD is an aviation machinist mate, which is just, I'm a mechanic. And then the E5 is my rank, which would be, in other terms, for the Navy, it's different for different branches, but for the Navy, it'd be Petty Officer Second Class.
Okay.
Except for nobody says that. We just combine them. So I'm an AD2 on my job and then my rank.
Gotcha. And where are you currently stationed?
I'm currently stationed in Washington State. It's really, really beautiful here. Just got to get past the rain.
What city in Washington?
Oak Harbor. Yeah, Oak Harbor. It's a little like peninsula. You got to take a bridge to get off of it. I'm about probably 2 hours away from Seattle, but I'm right next to the national park, the Olympic National Park, actually.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's, I'm sure, a lot of rain, but I guess on nice days it was probably pretty beautiful and scenic.
Oh, super beautiful. And then honestly, the rain's usually not too bad. You just got to get past not seeing the sun so often. But during the summer months, we get about like 2 months of summer. And during those months, we definitely try to get out and do as much as I can outside, because that's when you get to really see all the mountains and all the beautiful scenery.
Wow. So how long now have you been enlisted in the Navy?
I've been enlisted in the Navy for 4 years now. We're coming up on 5. I'm actually getting out in about 4 months, 4 or 5 months.
Oh, wow. You're almost done.
Yeah, I'm almost done with it. Super excited to get out and move on with my life and do a different thing and take the military experiences with me as well.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad we're able to get some time with you, right before you're being done. So maybe we can capture some of these experience and events while they're still fresh in your mind. So, obviously being, this is a podcast about football and around Calaveras football, and you being the next player, what would you say are some of the things you learned while playing high school football that has transferred over into your current situation in the Navy?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I would say some important things that I learned while playing football was teamwork and the ability to take criticism. that transitions really well over into the military in general, not just the Navy. It's important to do your job correctly and have the ability and confidence to rely on your peers. And that applies to both on the football field and with whatever career you're in, whatever you choose. And the ability to be able to learn and listen to what your peers or your leadership are telling you will only help make you better at whatever you're trying to accomplish. I can't count how many times on the football field or in the Navy I was shown a better or maybe even the correct way to do something. And it just makes you a better person, and it makes you a better quality teammate as well. Somebody that other people can rely on, and you'll eventually become a teacher of sort as well.
That makes sense, but I was your former football coach. I don't ever remember criticizing or giving you a hard time. Chance, come on.
I don't know. Every now and then, it's good. It's good. It only made me better. I liked it. It took a while to learn it, but once you got used to the coaches, maybe yelling at you or telling you like, "Hey, do that. You should be doing this instead." It really instills a level of like respect, and it helps you take that on as well. And I like it a lot. It was good.
Right. Of course, I'm being facetious because I can't there's probably very few days I wasn't writing somebody to get something done right. But like you said, it's all for the greater purpose and the greater good, right?
Yeah. I mean, even like when you guys would, make us like running. Yeah. I could think back to Coach Stockdale.
Mm-hmm.
When he would get, I don't know if he was in a bad mood, whatever it was, but we'd get on the line and we'd have to start running back and forth. And it's just like, you don't want to do it, but in your head that like, yeah, I'm doing it because this is just to make me better. Like he's using whatever he can as an excuse to motivate us. Like maybe we did do something poorly or didn't, but whatever it was, he just wanted to make us better.
Right. No, I don't think Coach Stockdale was ever in a bad mood. That was just his MO. When it was time for conditioning, he put on that hat and said, "Let's go."
I loved it. It was a good time. It was great. It's good memories. I thinking back on it, it's like makes me smile. I'm like, gosh, that's good times. Not in the moment, but now.
Yeah, that's odd because very, very few times do I hear guys go, "The conditioning is what I remember the most."
Those were some hard hours, man. I was dying. I remember contemplating so many things in my life in those moments.
Well, especially when it's like, in the dead heat of summer and, it's like, oh my gosh, and, you're physically exhausted and then your mind starts playing games on you.
Yep. It's all, that's when I think the conditioning was really great at, was just that mental part of it to help you. When you're tired, you just keep telling yourself like, I can keep going. And then you like, I don't think I can do another one. Well, you did another one. Well, now you were wrong. So like, you just keep telling yourself, I can do it.
Right. Right. So Chance, how long total did you play football? I mean, did you play like, Pop Warner?
Yeah. So I moved from Stockton to Calaveras, and I had to beg my mom for a year, from second grade to third grade. I had to beg her for a year to let me play football. So I played from my third grade year all the way to my senior year, so 10 years in total. And yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Perfect. Is there any other part of your life besides the military where you think football lessons have helped you as well?
Yeah, I think back in some of the lessons I learned in football apply to my everyday life for sure. I mean, the main one that I focus on is like the daily grind of practice, just that having to go into practice every day and you're doing the same mundane tasks. And, sometimes it could get boring or maybe you don't want to do them, but you need to do them just to become better and be a better team as well. And you can apply that to just your daily chores, like I own an apartment now. So like coming home, I don't got my mom to sweep my floors or nothing, do my laundry. I got to do that myself, and sometimes I don't want to do them. But I think back to the fact that like at practice, I had to do this every day. And I'm just like, you know what? I got to sweep. I got to do the dishes.
Get it done.
You just got to get it done. And I think football and other sports as well do a really good job of instilling that into you is sometimes you just got to push through the suck. And then, another one is accountability. Football is really good at teaching you accountability. I can think back to, multiple times that I've been in situations where if I didn't just own up to it, it would have changed my story, changed the way my life would have went.
Mm-hmm.
The only, not like a big one, but a little one I think back to is just when I was in high school, I was pulling out of a parking lot, and my music was blaring. I couldn't hear anything, and I was going a little too fast around a corner, and I hit a car. Not enough to stop my car's motion, but enough to where it was noticeable. And I kept driving because I didn't notice. But in my rear view, I saw a guy like waving his hands, and I just knew in that moment I had like a quick little decision. Like either I turn around and obviously he's talking to me, so I turn around and go deal with this, or I just drive away because nobody's really looking at me.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I turned around and just handled it and decided to own up to the fact that I hit this person's car. And luckily, that guy was super nice about it, and he was just happy I turned around and he just let me off the hook.
Wow.
He could have gone a lot further if he wanted to, and I feel like probably would have if I just drove off. Would have found me eventually. It's a small town.
Right. I've always said to my kids when they were growing up that it's always better to just face the music right up front, and if you don't, it'll get worse later. It's like just own up right immediately, and that always, even though that may seem scary at first, it always ends up just being better.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you just need to do it because you don't want to lie to anybody, and you also don't want to face the repercussions of making somebody else mad. And what I mean, you just need to tell them the truth. I did it. My bad. I wasn't trying to. Especially then, I was a young kid, so I'm sure he understood, and he just wanted to give me a good scare a little bit just to make sure I learned my lesson.
Right.
And I did.
Right. Well, that's good. That's a good story. Chance, why don't you tell us, for all us listeners out there that don't know what it's like to be in the military or the Navy, what's a day in the life of a sailor like? What's take us from when you wake up, how does your day go? And did I say that right? Do they still call them sailors?
Yeah, no, sailor is definitely the right terminology.
Okay.
Like I said in the Navy, there's so many ways to say the same thing. You could call me an airman, you could call me just like aviation person, whatever. Sailor is very general and what most people would refer to me as, especially in the civilian world. A day in the life, man. It really depends on who you're asking in the Navy, because the Navy is set into a lot of communities. So I can give you mine for sure. And I'm part of the VP community, which is a patrol squadron. They mainly focus on maritime patrol, as in submarine warfare and anti-submarine warfare and stuff like that, and search and rescue.
Gotcha.
And it also different is whenever you're if I'm on deployment compared to when I'm on home cycle, so a home cycle, which is what I'm on right now, lasts a year. So you do a year of home cycle and then 6 months of deployment. And really, when you're on home cycle, it's pretty simple. It's your time to kind of relax and not do anything too crazy. So you just wake up your normal 9 to 5, show up to work. I check my tools, take my maintenance meetings so I can get my priorities for the day, what jobs need to be done. And then, after that, I take it back to my shop and I formulate a plan and I task my people with things to do and other stuff like that, and then we also handle just with a problem were to occur up to a plane before it would take off. Because, we also have to handle the flight schedule. Planes don't just not fly whenever we have maintenance. So,
right.
They have a pre-flight, and during the pre-flight, if something goes off, we have to run out there, make sure everything's good, or fix the problem, or maybe that plane can't fly and it's going to be a bigger deal than we want, But when we're on deployments, that's when it gets a little different, because I'll end up working 7 days a week on a deployment, 12 hours a day. And it can get a little crazy because, not everybody's always at one location. There's a lot of debts and detachments out. So we go to a deployment, we go to our main hub, which would be the main place where everybody's at. And then from there, they kind of send people off to other little places to do, other world things. And, that can get a little crazy when you're by yourself at a, place in Greece, and I'm the only mech. I'm the only person that can do this job, and I got to do it alone. And you got to figure out maybe a different way than maybe the way it should be done, just to because it has to get done, has to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to get creative at that point.
Yeah, you got to get creative and just get things done. So, I mean, the day is always different whenever you're on a deployment. The day is never the same. Home cycle, it's pretty straightforward. 9 to 5. You got to take care of what you got to take care of. Super simple. Deployments get a little crazy. You got to figure out things.
All right. So Chance, what do you think are some of the challenges that you've had to face while in the military that maybe you weren't expecting? Did you have to face something you went, whoa, I didn't realize it was going to be like this, or did you have to overcome any of those type of challenges?
Oh yeah, I mean, tons of little challenges for sure. The biggest one for me was being lonely. I left the Navy in 2019 and then graduated boot camp in December of 2019. And then after that, I was sent to some schooling. Then I got my orders to the command I'm at now. And before I left for my new command, I found out that they were going to Italy for a deployment the day that I landed in Washington. So I had to land, and then within 8 hours, I was on a plane to go to Italy. So not only had I just left home from my family and friends, I hadn't gotten the chance to be in one place to make new ones. I haven't gotten to make any friends and make new friends,
Mm-hmm.
And on top of all that, after that, I got sent to a different country with a bunch of people I don't know, doing a job that I hadn't learned yet. And that was all during COVID as well. And so that was just a super hard thing for me to comprehend and try to overcome, was just finding a way to be happy and content by myself, kind of really rely on myself and not just, and be a little lonely, if that makes sense. Find things to do that didn't require other people. Yeah, and I feel like that could be difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah, that would be extremely difficult, especially, for, your more extroverted, outgoing, social people that are used to interacting with others all the time, and suddenly they're on their own. And it's like, hello, anyone out there? So,
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, when it wasn't like I didn't make friends when I got to those schools and stuff, I did, but I was only at those schools for a month and a half to 2 months. So I would make those friends, and then I'd be gone and I wouldn't see those people again.
Right.
So it was really weird. It's a really weird transition. And it's a lot of you make friends and then they leave type situation. So, and that still happens to me today. Even the command I've been at for 4 years now, I got buddies that got orders and they're in California now. And I used to live with them and I love them to death. They're great people, but I don't get to see them anymore. They left. That's just the way the Navy works.
Just part of the deal, part of the bigger plan, and you got to get used to just depending on yourself. And I guess maybe knowing that, hey, there's going to be a new friend I'm going to make here pretty soon, maybe helps reassure you.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely make friends in the Navy. And even when I was alone in Italy by myself with these people I didn't know, it wasn't like I was left to hang dry. People went out of their way to try to get to know me, and eventually they did, and we hung out, and I made some really good friends and probably lifetime friendships here. Honestly, that people I won't forget about, and I'll call every now and then, to make sure they're doing good.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Navy, the military does that for you, for sure.
That's great. Chance, if there's a high school athlete right now that's in school, they're doing their thing, going to school, they're either playing football or they're, some other sport, what advice would you have for them if they're considering going into the military after high school?
Man, going into the military after high school. So my advice would be to do your research before you join. Know what the jobs are that you can do in whatever branch it is. Know what the MOS is or the job title is. Know exactly everything, where they can be stationed. This is all information that you can find out. It's not privy to only people in the military. It's definitely all searchable things, and in the website, and they have websites and stuff. The Navy has their website. You go on there and it shows you videos of what my job does. And then another one would be to reach out to people in the military. I mean, it's a small world in Valley Springs and San Andreas and all that, and a lot of people have joined the military from there. And you can definitely find somebody that knows somebody in the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, whatever it is. And you should talk to them, message them, ask them questions about, my recruiter saying this. You give them information of what you're being told, so that way they can tell you what the truth is. Because the recruiters will fib to you a little bit because they want to hit their numbers.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're salespeople, right? They want everybody to sign on the line and let's go.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll say for me, that's what I did. I truly was messaging people in the military already that I had already talked to before, or that were friends of friends, and they were telling me a lot of things. And I was able to go to the recruiter with this kind of knowledge, and it felt like they didn't try to fib to me as much, because I kind of just told them, like, whatever you say to me, I'm relaying back to these people, because I want to make sure this goes right and correct. And that's how I want everybody to do it, because you need to know what you're getting into if you're going to do this or not, because it is a sacrifice. You are sacrificing your freedom for the greater good, but at least know why and know what you can get out of it at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
And I would for sure say that you need to, when you join, if you decide to join, that sometimes being quiet and listening will do more for you than just telling somebody they're wrong. The military is all about structure and rank, so sometimes you're going to get yelled at by someone above you, and that's just the way it is. It's a lot like football in a sense, where you're the player, and you need to sometimes you just got to be quiet and listen to what the coach is saying to you,
Mm-hmm.
and really understand. Not saying that you can't say if you have a good idea, you can definitely go to your coaches. You can definitely go to your leadership and tell them your idea. Don't be scared to do that. But sometimes just know that when you're getting yelled at, it's just the way it goes. Things slide downwards. All right. This person got yelled at, and then now it's your turn to get yelled at, and it's just the way it goes.
Right.
It's better just to be quiet.
Just understand your place.
Yeah, and it's not even just that with leadership too. You need to understand, like, the military. When you're not at work, the rank does not exist. There's no rank when you're not at work. So you could be buddy with people that are above you, and that's cool. And you guys could be friends and good friends and all that. But when you're at work, there's a level of respect that you just need to have, and you need to always have it too, because you don't know who's around. And also when you're at work, it's time to work. It's not time to be buddy all the time. Sometimes things need to be done.
Right. Absolutely. So how about do you have any other specifics, like do's and don'ts to these high school athletes, as far as if you're going to be planning on going to the military, make sure you do this or make sure you don't do that? Anything specific around that?
Yeah, like when it comes to like joining the military. So I'll tell you, for me, I was pretty adamant on not joining the military in high school. Like, I pretty much told people I would never do that. As we see where I'm at now, I did. It's just one of those things where if you know in high school that you're going to join the military, that's great. Just don't use that as an excuse to slack at school. You still need to get good grades. Your ASVAB score, which is the test they do for people getting in, it really matters, and it can really limit you too with what job you can get. Because the better your score is, the more opportunity that whatever military branch you're joining will give you a better job, or maybe a job that will apply better to the civilian world. But if you get a bad score, then you're kind of stuck with whatever that score allows for you. That's what kind of sucks. But I would just make sure you do that. And then I would also think about, if you really want to get into high school, I would think about college as well. It's kind of weird, but I would think about that and probably go in the officer route. You make more money. You make a lot more money.
Right.
And it's really not too bad. And that's what I would consider. And I would definitely, at least if you really want to join the military and you want to give yourself any advantage, I would still do at least 20 college credits, because you get a bunch of advantages in the military for doing that, like extra points and stuff, and that can apply towards your promotions. You'll make rank faster, all kinds of stuff like that. And so I really think education is still important, even if you're trying to join.
Right. I think that's really good advice and really an interesting perspective, because even the military understands that, hey, if you're a dipshit, we're going to give you dipshit menial work, and if you're smart and you're educated, we're going to move you up and give you more smarter jobs. It only seems to make sense, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, if you're smart, they're going to try to keep you, and they want you too, and they're going to put money into you. You got to think about that as well. Like, when you join the Navy and they give you a job, when they send you to those schools aren't free. They're they're paying for that.
Right.
They're paying for that experience and that knowledge, because those are still credited things that you can take out into the civilian world. Like, I could go out right now and take my A&P license test to work on aircraft out in the civilian world. And I would have some schooling to back that up already. And just that's from the Navy. That's on the Navy's dollar.
Right. And I would think, airline mechanics probably do pretty well.
Airline mechanics do pretty well. Yeah, no, definitely. And where I'm at too in Seattle, near the Seattle area, there's the Boeing hub and all that. So there's a lot of connections that have been made here from me, that talking to other government civilian workers that know people in Boeing or know the hiring managers and stuff. And you get a good time out here to talk to them and figure out what your resume needs to look like, all kinds of stuff like that.
Very nice. So good training, and at the same time networking with the right kind of people that may come in handy down the road.
Yeah, you when you join, especially, well, for me, before I joined, I never really quite understood the level of respect that a veteran or even just an active duty military person actually kind of gets. It still kind of baffles me at times, like how much people appreciate that and how much people actually kind of look at that and think to themselves, well, that guy was in the military and he must have really good discipline and all kinds of stuff. And so if you do it and you're just using it as a stepping stone, which a lot of people do, it's really not a bad gig. You're getting a bunch of experience. You get to travel the world, and you're going to be able to get out of this situation just a better person, I think, personally. You learn a lot. And seeing the world is just an understatement. I've seen quite a bit of places. I've been to Japan. I've been to Djibouti, which is in Africa. I've been to Greece. I've been to Scotland. I've been to Italy. I've been to Iceland. I've been to the Philippines. I've been to a lot of places, and it's the things that not a lot of people get to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something that most people don't ever get to do in their entire lifetime.
Yeah, and the Navy, I mean, obviously you're working for it. It's not like I went out there for vacation. I'm still doing my job when I'm out there.
Right.
But when it's playtime, you get to have fun, and it's a good time. And I love it. I loved every second of it.
That's great. This podcast we're doing, it will be coming out live right around 4th of July time, and I think it's absolutely perfect because I have a history in my family. My uncle served in the Vietnam War. I have another uncle in the Korean War. So our family is very patriotic when it comes to serving time in the military and the 4th of July and letting that red, white, and blue fly proudly. Tell us a little bit about how you feel around patriotism and around the flag and your service, about how you feel around that area, especially since this is people are going to be listening to this on 4th of July.
That's fair. Yeah, it's really funny because so my birthday is actually Veterans Day. So
nice.
And I get a lot of jokes, at work and stuff, that I was born to be in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I have very minimal family that was ever in the military. I can only think of one person, and he was actually in the Navy. It was my great grandfather.
Okay.
I feel there is a sense of pride, being in the military and the sacrifices. It's just at the same time you're kind of numb to it when you're in it.
Right.
Does that makes sense? It's
right.
It's everyday life for me. This is what I've been doing since I was 20 years old. So, and it's sometimes when you've been doing this, I don't know, I know what freedom was in high school, right? But how much freedom did I really have in high school? I still had to show up somewhere, 8 hours a day, no matter what. That was what I had to do. And now I just kind of did it again, or it's in the military. So I haven't really gotten to experience freedom yet,
Mm-hmm.
being an adult working in a civilian job. So I think once I get out, I'll probably be able to look back on this and feel more gratitude and more I'll feel better for the people that are into. I'll just feel like they're doing a good thing for us, for the world, really.
Right. Right.
It's just hard in it to feel that way.
I can totally relate. I can see that it's going to take some time, maybe after being out, to be able to kind of look back on things differently.
Yeah. Because right now, like I said, I do feel appreciated from everybody, and I feel great. I feel a pride in my work, like going to work. And when I'm having a bad day, you do think to yourself, well, somebody's got to do it, And I'm the one that signed the contract saying I would do it.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know, it's a good time too. At the same time, it's hard to explain what it's like when you're in. if you haven't been in. But if you're in high school and you're like thinking about joining, you're going to create some lifelong friends here, and you're gonna feel the love for sure.
That's great. So you mentioned freedom, and I know that's coming up for you soon. In fact, I might as well throw it out there. You've got a wedding that you're supposed to be part of here pretty soon coming up, right?
I do have a wedding, in August. I still haven't gotten the card yet, but I'm waiting for it.
Okay, I'm sure you'll get it. So August 24th, a good buddy of yours from back in your Calaveras days, Louis Jobin, is getting married to my daughter, to little Coach Val, and so it's kind of a funny thing, full circle. Louis and Lisa are getting married in August, so we'll see each other then.
100%. I made sure to already got the leave routed for it. I made special plans just for it, just to make sure I could make it. Because I know for a while Louis was thinking, oh, I don't know if you're going to be able to make it, because I kept relaying information of just like, in the military, when it comes to leave, it's kind of hard to get it approved sometimes, and you never know what's going to be happening. And if I wasn't getting out, August is right around the time that I would be going on my next deployment. Mm-hmm. So, uptick on work and stuff. That just speaks to the sacrifices that people in the military have to make. Sometimes I don't get to go to the big things in life for people, and I'm really happy that I get to see one of my best friends, get married. It's really great for me. I love that.
That's pretty awesome. I can't wait for it, and I'm very happy for Lisa and Louie, and I look forward to seeing you there as well. Other question, Chance. Knowing hindsight is 2020. Is there anything different that you would have done back in high school that you think would have benefited you now being in the Navy?
So, hindsight being 2020, there's still just not like too much in high school that probably would have benefited me now more in the Navy, other than just me taking my grades a little more seriously.
Okay.
I wasn't like a bad kid in school or anything, but I think if I had applied myself a little better, and if I took the ASVAB in high school, because taking the ASVAB early like that, while you still have that knowledge, it's fresh in your mind,
Right.
Like I said before, it's just gonna benefit you, giving you better job options to choose from. And I would say that, still getting good grades and all that, like if you're wanting to join the military, like still really consider college first. And because if you're trying to especially if you're trying to make the military your career, I would advise like going the officer route is a little probably more beneficial, like career wise. Just you're going to make more money in the end. You also still will have if you get your degree, you're going to have a degree. So when you get out, and if you don't want to do that, you really want to go enlisted, like you're really set on that, like that's great, and more power to you. But I would still at least try to get 20 credits done of college, because like I said, it's just going to help you promote.
Gotcha.
It'll give you extra. It gives you extra points and stuff like that. And as far as like pitfalls to look out for, is still just make sure that you are doing your research. Recruiters will lie. That's 100% going to happen.
Embellish.
You can talk to me. Yeah, they embellish. They're going to embellish a lot. So just pay attention to what they're talking about. Do your own research. You can talk to me. I'm sure maybe somebody will know somebody that knows me, and they can pass along my number, and I will give you all the deets about the Navy that I can give you, and I will fill you in also on like if you're wondering what my specific job is and what that entails. I can tell you in depth about what the engine does, and I can tell you in depth about what the aircraft is and everything. I have no problem doing that. I would love to help people when it comes to joining the military, so they get all the information.
That's great. So that, and don't run your car into some other guy pulling out of the parking lot.
Yeah, don't do that. Definitely don't do that. That was not the best moment. I remember having to tell my dad about that, and let's just say he was not the happiest.
Yeah, I can only imagine, but yeah, I think I've had plenty of experience around that area with all my children too. But hey, it's part of life. We learn, we get better, we grow from it, and hopefully don't make those same mistakes twice, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I had a bad string there. I got my license, and then 10 days after that, I rolled it in a ditch. So,
ouch.
And then yeah, 3 months after that, then I get in that little side bender thing, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'm not a good driver.
So Chance,
nope, I was just young and stupid.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, and that's normally what happens. Is the stupid part is just being inexperienced and trying to figure things out. So I got a couple of just quick, easy little fun ones to help people get to know kind of who you are. And it's just a little either or quick stuff. So are you a book guy or Kindle guy? Book or Kindle?
Oh, can I say neither?
yeah. What are you, magazines?
Yeah.
What, comic books?
More of podcast person, if anything, audio for sure.
All right. I like it. And let's talk football. Coach Val, number one on your list. I love it. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
All right.
Coke all day.
The toilet paper roll, release over or under when you're getting it?
I prefer over.
I'm the same.
Over.
It's got to be over.
Yeah.
It's got to be over.
Yep.
I'm getting all that carpal tunnel, having to get my wrist all underneath. I hate it.
Yeah, I'm still young, so I don't got to worry about that yet. But one day.
Yeah, well, hopefully never for you. You don't want that. Trust me. Dog or cat?
Dog. 100% dog. They're your best friends. Can't go wrong with them.
There you go. Apple or Android?
Apple all day. Apple. Yeah. No, I don't mess with the Androids.
All right. I'm the same way. I'm Apple. My daughter's had a time. I went from flip phone where, excuse me, when you have to text in the old days when you'd hit like the number 7 button like 4 times just to get the letter S.
You know what's funny is I have a little experience with that. My first ever like kind of phone was one of those minute phones. You had to get minutes.
Oh yeah. Prepaid.
And it was prepaid, and it was a Nokia something. And yeah, it was just like that. I had to press like the numbers a bunch of times to get certain letters. I was like, God dang, I don't like this.
Yeah, now you can just talk into the phone and it like totally types out all your whole text message for you, right?
Yeah, it does it for me now. Thank God.
That's funny. All right, last one. My daughters, I have 3 daughters, and they'll be all over this one because they have very strong feelings on this one. Yes or no? Pineapple on pizza?
No, not a pineapple on pizza. I don't like it. We have arguments about this at work too. I don't enjoy pineapple on pizza. It's like a weird taste to me. It's a weird sweetness to me that I don't think needs to be on a pizza.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. My daughters would argue against it. They love it. I like it. I think that extra sweetness against the saltiness of like pepperoni, that sweet and salty combo is pretty nice. So I like that.
I see people's point, but for just me personally, I don't know. I don't. It's like warm too. Like it heats up the pineapple. It's just a weird like thing, and I just don't enjoy. I don't enjoy it.
I can see that. I feel that way about tuna casserole. Tuna to me has to be cold, so the thought of like heated up tuna grosses me out.
Yeah, I'm with you there 100%. I've ate a lot of those little tuna packets, and I know people that heat up that tuna packet, and I'm like, that is foul. I don't know how you're eating that. I don't know how you're doing that. That's gross.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, Chance, thanks very much for sharing your experience of your time there in the Navy. And what is it, about 5 years you've completed now?
Yeah, it'll be 5 years the day I get out, which will be October 8th.
Okay, so a 5-year stint in the Navy. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all the things you did back for Calaveras football. I know I coached you. You were part of that 10-0 undefeated team in 2015, right?
Yeah, I still got that shirt that shows all the scores and everything.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Love that shirt.
Well, thanks so much for all you've done for Calaveras football, for all you're doing for our country. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with our listeners. Any outgoing last words you want to say to us before we get going?
Just that, hey, I'm happy you guys are listening to the podcast, and it's been really great. And thank you for letting me, come on here and talk to you. It's great. I love this.
You bet. Thank you, Chance. I want to thank all of you out there that's listening. Thanks to Chance Norton for taking time out of his busy schedule to call in and talk with us. Remember, if you have any questions or comments that you would like for us to air in a future episode, follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Let's Talk Football with Coach Val. And now a new feature is you can actually text the show a message under the send us a text message link in the podcast page that you're using. So when you bring the podcast up, there'll be a link that says text the show. And when you click on that through your phone, you can text us a message and it'll come right to us, and we'll air that and answer any questions or air any comments. And of course, you can always shoot us an email at gilbertvaltierra@gmail.com. Chance, thanks again. And until next time, we are out.
And it's intercepted. It's intercepted by number 22. That's Clifton. He's got the left edge. Turns on the Jets. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play. Up to a running back. That's Ferrante over to the right side. He cuts back up the middle. He's got room. One man to beat. He turns on the Jets. There he goes. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play.